Have you ever been in a situation where everyone around you says, "It's over, there's no hope, just move on"? Maybe it's a financial struggle, a broken relationship, or a dream that seems out of reach. But what if I told you that just because everyone says it's dead, doesn't mean God has given up on it? Today, I want to share with you the powerful story of Jairus' daughter. A story that proves when Jesus steps in, what seemed dead can live again. So who is Jairus? Jairus was a synagogue leader, well respected, but now he was in a desperate situation and was helpless. His status or influence couldn't save his daughter. Reason because his daughter was sick and was almost at the point of death. And all his influence, all his power, everything he had couldn't change that. But yet, he had to humble himself and seek out Jesus, falling at his feet and ask Jesus to come heal his sick daughter who was about dying. Sometimes, even with everything we know or have, we face moments where only God can intervene. At that point, what is truly needed is humility. You just need to surrender that situation to God. It's not about trying to do everything, because at that point in time, there is nothing that you can do. All the money you have may not even be enough to rescue you out of that situation. So there's one thing you need at that point in time, is humility. But what happened in that story? On the way, Jesus, having agreed to heal his sick daughter, was interrupted by the woman with the issue of blood when she touched him to gain healing. So Jesus went around asking his disciples who had touched him. Jairus was waiting, anxious. He was worried. He was fighting fear. He was perplexed. What was the state of his daughter at that point in time? Maybe you are like Jairus in this moment. You are experiencing difficulty. You are experiencing delay, and any little chance, any little opportunity, things could get worse. Then, suddenly, messengers came with the news: your daughter is dead. Why trouble the teacher any longer? But here's the thing you need to know. Sometimes the noise around us, people's words, negative thoughts, doubts, try to convince us that it's too late. But just at that moment, Jesus overheard them and said, "Do not be afraid, just believe." I want you to take that word deeply. Do not be afraid, just believe. That's the next thing we need to do after humbling ourselves, that we need God's intervention. Trust. You need to trust God. You need to give God that wholehearted trust, believing that He can make all things new, believing that He can raise you out of that dead situation. Trust, undiluted trust. But can your trust be as deep as that of Jairus? Now, when Jesus reached the house of Jairus, the place was filled with mourners. People were crying, wailing, declaring the finality of death. There was mourning everywhere. But then Jesus said something shocking. He said, "The child is not dead, but sleeping." And they all laughed at him. And what did he do? He put them all outside. Sometimes, when you need radical miracles, you have to shut out the noise, the doubters, the negativity, even your own fears, to make space for God's miracle. Sometimes you need to put certain people out of your life who are telling you that your situation cannot change. Sometimes you need to shut out that noise for you to be able to experience what's unexpected and what's unimaginable miracle. And then another thing you need to do is to take people with you who has faith. So Jesus went into Jairus' house with Peter, James, and John, and the child's parents, those who had faith. When you are going through a very difficult situation like that of Jairus, you need to look for friends, maybe your church people, maybe your family people, just even if it is just one or two people who has faith with you, who can pray with you, who can go in with you. These are the kind of people you need, not those who are making noise, not those who are telling you that it's over. You need people of faith. Now, when Jesus went into the room, he walks to her and says in Aramaic, Talitha cum, meaning, little girl, I say to you, arise. And immediately, not 1 hour, not 2 hours, not 10 days, immediately, the girl got up and walked. What was declared dead by the world was alive in the hands of Christ, and everybody was filled in awe. What the world calls dead, God can still call back to life. Maybe your business seems dead. Maybe your finances seems dead. Maybe you are going through a health situation. Maybe the doctor have already pronounced you dead. Maybe the doctor have already given you this, that you are not going to survive a certain number of days. But with God, there is nothing that is impossible. Like the words of Jesus, do not be afraid, just believe. There is nothing that God cannot do. I don't know what you are going through right now. I don't know exactly what you may be going through. But today, I want to remind you to shut out the noise, to shut out the doubts, and make room for Jesus to speak life into it. If this message inspired you, share it with someone who needs to hear it, that it's not over yet, that you shouldn't give up yet. Even if that situation seems like it's dead, remember, with God, even what seems dead can live again. Do not be afraid. Just believe.